Hi guys, welcome to Northwest Connection. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
I'm Rob, and I'm the vocalist in Death of Youth.
I'm Carlos, and I play bass in Death of Youth.
And I'm Joe. I play guitar in Death of Youth.
So, what's the story behind the formation, and how long have you been a band?
Okay, so Death of Youth kind of started in 2018 as a kind of bedroom project I was in, because me and Joe and our drummer Will, who can't be with us today, we were in a band like late teens, early 20s, kind of playing like Funeral Friend style post-hardcore kind of stuff. And then Joe moved to Brighton for uni, and it kind of put the band on hold. But I really wanted to kind of still like make music, especially inspired by stuff I was listening to at the time, which was like bands like Touche Amore, La Dispute, and some common stuff going on in the UK at the time, like Departures and Good Time Boys. But I struggled to find like-minded people who were into that kind of thing to do that kind of music. So I just set about writing music by myself. So I put out 2 EPs, like through that way, just recording them with a friend and putting them on Bandcamp. And yeah, the response to that was pretty good. We got some releases through labels, which was really cool for me. I wasn't expecting that at all. But then I put it on hold to focus on other things, and then I decided, wouldn't it be cool to play these songs live? And yeah, so early 2024, I think Joe's one of the first people I told I'm planning on doing a one-off Death of You show. And Joe was like, well, if you need someone to join playing guitar or bass, let me know. And and I was expecting him just to stick around for the one show. Then Will, our drummer, joined as well. But as we were getting ready for that one show, I started writing more music, and I was like, you know what, let's make this more of a long-term thing. Joe was having so much fun, he decided to stick around as well.
It was supposed to be one show because I still live in Brighton, but I was enjoying it too much, so I just deal with the commute.
But yeah, so we wrote the album, recorded it start of last year, and then I think we realised our bassist at the time, he had other commitments that were causing him to give Death of Youth less attention, and it was making things. It wasn't easy for us to plan things. It wasn't. And for him, it was just one other commitment to fit into his schedule. So we decided it was best for both parties to find someone else. And that's where Carlos comes in. Carlos is our friend I've known for a long time. He's into a lot of the same bands that we are. So I thought he'd be a no-brainer to join the band. And literally, as soon as he joined, it felt like everything finally came together. And yeah, we've been playing shows pretty much ever since then. We've been on a couple tours this year as well.
And where did the band name come from?
It's named after the band Departures, who are like a Scottish melodic hardcore band. I think they've recently started doing stuff again, but for a few years it was a song off their most recent album, Death Touches Us From the Moment We Begin to Love. I remember seeing that band name on the track listing, or the album name on the track listing, and thinking, you know what, that would make a really good band name. And I kind of kept that in mind for a couple of years until I actually started Death of Youth.
I didn't realise that Departures was there, started being an active band again, because didn't the singer have some health issues?
Yes, they did. So I kind of saw them posting stuff on their Instagram, and I was like, how's that going to work? Because obviously I know they broke up because their singer had a heart attack on stage when they were touring with Touche Amore, and that caused him he got diagnosed with a very serious heart condition, and he was like, shit, I can't do this anymore. But they've released a new song recently,
right?
And they're playing a charity show fairly soon. So we'll have to see. I guess they're playing it by ear, seeing how it goes.
Right. So you're based in London, is that correct? Obviously, with the exception of Joe, based in Brighton.
Yeah. So I think most of us are all scattered around various places in southeast London / Kent, that kind of like Kent-London border, going towards Dartford, and that's where Joe grew up as well.
So the London hardcore scene's quite busy. Do you feel you actually fit in there, or do you feel a bit more like outsiders?
Maybe in this kind of screamo adjacent scene, if you want to call it that, and I guess it's not limited to London. That's where I feel we fit closest, but I feel we'd be able to vibe with a lot of bands in other sub scenes, for lack of a better word.
I don't think we've ever really felt out of place anywhere, people in the hardcore scene, in all the different flavors of it are always very welcoming. Obviously we're kind of sad emo hardcore, but had some beatdown fans and stuff enjoying us as well. So
yeah, we've had a good mix of kind of stuff. But I do say we do tend to play with more of the screamo side than the hardcore side. Obviously, we would have to play with both, but I think we seem to fit more in with the screamo bands.
And what are the musical backgrounds of each of you? How did you all get into playing your instruments?
Okay, who wants to go first?
I'm going to formulate. I'm going to
Okay.
formulate it again.
So for me, so music wasn't really something that was on my radar for a good few years until my mum, when I was about 12 years old, lent me all her old Iron Maiden cassette tapes, because she was a big Iron Maiden fan growing up. And then I kind of got interested in the idea of like playing an instrument, and I thought, oh, I could play guitar, because I think a friend of my little brother's dad was a guitar teacher. So I was able to go to his for some lessons. And I think at first it was one of those things I was just like, I like music, but I have other passions. But then I discovered Basket Case by Green Day when I was about 14 years old. And I was like, wow, I really connect to this. I want to be able to do this. And that made me like really step up with guitar and things like that. And then eventually got into stuff like My Chemical Romance, from Funeral for a Friend, and going to the slightly into the more heavier side, the hardcore emo kind of side, and being like, okay, this is my niche. This is the kind of thing that I want to do.
So for me, I was playing piano from when I was about 5 years old, piano and keys. That was pretty much a constant throughout school. I guess when I was 15, I first got a guitar, and slowly but surely I started getting into rock music, which then slowly got into more heavier stuff. Around that time, I guess for the first time in school, I picked up my friend's bass and thought it would be cool to do that one day. I'd kept playing it if it was around in other situations. It's only until I joined the band, when that position became vacant, have I really been taking bass a bit more seriously than before, to bring it towards Death of Youth at least.
How about you, Joe?
Well, I always listened to a lot of kind of older stuff growing up. Like my parents had on like the Beatles or David Bowie, the Stranglers, stuff like that. But I'd never really tried playing an instrument or anything until I was in like year 8 or 9 at school. And there was this project in music class where we had to like get into bands and play a song together. And in my group, I don't think anyone could actually play an instrument. And I was the one who volunteered to have a go at guitar, and I just ended up really liking it. And by that point, I'd started listening to, like, kind of starting to branch out into more modern stuff, kind of punkier stuff. Rise Against was the first band I like really fell in love with. And then all just kind of branched further into heavier and heavier music from there.
So who would you say are the musicians that inspired you the most individually?
I like...
I'll let you go first, Joe.
My big guitar influence is Justin Beck from Glassjaw. Because he has this... He doesn't really fall back on traditional breakdown stuff all the time. Like, he plays around with different sounds and techniques, and the guitar becomes like something that doesn't really sound like a guitar a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I find that stuff really interesting.
Okay. For me, in terms of like my vocal style, I'd say probably Jeremy Bolton from Touche Amore, because it's got like very kind of like that raw honesty behind it. It's basically just screaming very passionately. I'd say that feeds into like the lyric, because I can sometimes like emulate the way he writes, but kind of put my own spin on it. And I think another influence I have lyrically is Serena Cherry from Svalbard, because I like the way when she's talking about that, the political side, which is very much a presence in Death of Youth. I do keep it, like, rather than hiding it behind metaphors, I do spell it out, like, this is what the issue is, this is what I'm pissed off about, and this is why it sucks.
For bass, when I was younger, I loved like The Cure, The Smiths, and Susie and the Banshees, and all their bass players inspired me massively in a way when I first started picking up a bass. And I guess the stuff that's closer to what we play that inspires me, or the bassists, I should say, Caleb Schofield from Cave In, And Ed Breckenridge from Thrice. I love all the kind of melodic fills they do.
Choice.
And how would you describe Death and Youth sounds to someone who hasn't heard you before?
I'd say it's kind of like a mush. Like if you put like hardcore, emo, screamo, and early 2000s post-hardcore in a blender and kind of mush the little elements of them around and adding like loads of heart and emotion and then having that balance between aggression and melody, I'd say that pretty much sums it up.
Anyone else got another take?
I think he summed it up pretty well.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there.
So you mentioned before, Rob, that Death of You started for you as a bedroom project on your own. So
Yeah.
do you still take the lead when it comes to the songwriting process, or is it a bit more collaborative these days?
To some extent, yes, because part of it is Joe, he has another band up in Brighton that he handles a lot of the writing for. So I think what he likes about Death of Youth is one of the things he just has to learn the songs and play. But I also like to collaborate. I like to let the other members have their say in the writing. Like when I show them a song, or when we get into studio, like they'll all have their note. Like when we recorded the album, Joe had all his notes on the songs, and like he plays the songs all right, but he adds his own touches to them. He has his own like unique things to him to make the parts his own. So like I say, they're not like my songs; they're our songs. Even though I like kind of like come up with like the basic structure and like the way they sound, like the other members all add their own sensibilities to the mix, and also like to let our producers in the studio kind of add their shit as well, because I think everyone just wants to make the songs the best they can. Like sometimes I'll be very particular and say, no, I think this should sound like this, but most of the time I'm happy to step back because most of the time everyone's contribution just makes songs better.
Rob's not that diva. He's always happy to kind of take on board what we have to say. Like there's ones stuff that's even as simple as like, let's just not go around this section this many times. Let's just go one fewer times, or like stuff like that. He doesn't take it personally.
It'd be fair to say Rob is the chief songwriter, but he, like the others have said, he's definitely open to other suggestions.
So you usually just bring like the skeleton of the song in, and then the rest of the band fill it out.
I've been writing my own music for a while now, so I guess it's like I already have something where I have complete control over it. So I'm more than happy to contribute to something that already exists and hopefully make it better.
So the music sits somewhere between emotional honesty and hardcore intensity. When you're writing the songs, which side tends to win? Is it the heart or the adrenaline?
I'd say the heart, because I think what's more important to me is the songs hit on that emotional level. Also, I think it depends on what I'm writing about as well, because I think more often than not I tend to write politically, unless it's like, because I think I'm 32, 33, I don't want to be just being angsty all the time. I want my music to like be more than just me and my personal life. But obviously if there's something that I need to get off my chest and address in terms of like something I'm going through personally, then definitely the more emotional side will need to take precedent. But either way, when we're doing the political side, it's me saying how I feel about these particular issues that I'm thinking about. It's all stuff that I feel very strongly about. Otherwise, I wouldn't be writing about them.
The adrenaline comes from the heart, I think. It's kind of built off of that. Rob could do a speech about every single song on the album, I think. There's none that are just kind of afterthoughts, you know?
And when you disagree on something musically, how do you usually settle it?
Just try both. See what... we can usually figure out what everyone prefers by consensus once we're hearing the two things like side by side, you know. We just try both things in the room, you know.
What happens if you're a 4-piece at the end of the day? What happens if it's 2v2?
That's not happened yet, so I think we'd have to come up with a system in case that does happen.
I guess we'll find out.
Let us know as soon.
We'll come to you guys. You can let us know. But then there's two of you, so...
What are you trying to say?
So if someone only listens to one Death of Youth track to get it, which one should it be and why?
I think maybe the title track from our album... Actually, I've got two suggestions. The title track from our album, Nothing's the Same Anymore, because I think it's got that kind of... The guitars are quite intense. But I mean, also it's kind of got that, it's like kind of melancholic, but also got a kind of a bittersweet edge to it, because it's a song about healing from trauma. So it's a positive start on a negative situation. I think another one would be Performance Arts, which is a song we've come to really love recently, playing it live, because I think it goes through like so many different like flavors. It starts off kind of like with a kind of more have heart kind of vibe. Then it kind of goes into like a portrayal of guilt kind of section, and then it ends like a big explosive finish.
I was going to say Fix Your Heart or Die. It's got intensity, it's got melody with the guitar lines and whatnot, but it definitely sticks a line in the sand as well. I think that sums us up pretty well as a band.
Only Fix Your Heart or Die. I agree.
So, do you guys have specific roles beyond the music within your band, like your social media and your artwork and your booking gigs, or is it all left to one person?
I'm the driver.
I just print the set lists and aggressively G up the crowd.
Oh yeah, Carlos loves jumping into the crowd, especially at the end of the sets. So I guess a lot of it does. I do. I guess because it's like this is my baby. I do a lot of I run of the social media pages. I'm usually the one who gets in touch with the promoters of our shows to try and get us gigs booked, and like corresponding with other bands who want to play shows with, and also sorting out labels and artwork and all that stuff. But obviously, but with anything like that, I always run it past the band, make sure what they think. Like when we were talking to Alex, who did our artwork for the album, I was sending all the artwork to the group chat to see what they thought of the artwork, see if they wanted anything change before I fed back to Alex to say, yeah, that's all really good.
Rob's essentially the band manager.
We just sign off on stuff.
So, talk about your live shows now. Have you got a favourite live performance so far?
There's been quite a few. I think, especially this year, since we released the album, we've been playing more songs, but even before then. But I think two that stick in my mind the most are our album release show that we did in February, because it was our first headline show, and it was like one of those ones that felt quite daunting because I was putting that on myself. And it was sort of like every day I was getting emails about the ticket sales, and I was just thinking, are we in over our heads? Are we ready to headline? Are enough people going to show up? But then we ended up having like half the venue full, which was really good for me, and like broke even, had enough to pay the other bands. And it just felt like that triumphant combination of everything leading up to the album, especially like we ended our set and I was close to tears of joy from that standing ovation we got from the crowd. And then literally as soon as we were ready to finish and get off stage and like congratulate each other, we started getting chants of one more song. And that was not something I had on the cards at all. I was just expecting to get off stage and like sell some records and cassette tapes and whatever merch people wanted, but they wanted another song that really warmed my heart. And I think the other one that sticks in my mind is we played Birmingham in May. That's like the first time we played Birmingham. It's our first time headlining outside of London, and like the response we got from the crowd there was really good. I was really happy to be playing that show, like especially if like we've never played a place before, we don't know what it's going to be like, but the crowd there were really receptive to us. And one of the support bands were a band called Eyeglass, who were like they're kind of like Thursday mixed with Love Disputes, I guess. But they all came to us after the show saying, "You guys are phenomenal. We'd absolutely love to play with you as many times as we can." So that's a very memorable show for me.
I also look back very fondly on the album release show, because it felt like the culmination of everything that we'd been working towards at that point. I loved the Birmingham show for the reasons Rob said. You know, it was our first headliner outside of London. The others that stick in my mind are the show we played in Eastbourne. That was just so much fun, and the energy was just off the charts there. And the same for Calamity Tank in Leytonstone, was it?
Yeah, Leytonstone. So it's like kind of East Londonish, I guess. But yeah, that was our last London show of last year, and that was one of the first shows where I was like, wow, people are really getting into what we're doing.
Yeah, it sticks out for me for that reason as well.
You, Joe, you got anything to add?
Yeah, I think that Birmingham show is probably my favourite. It was like the last date of the tour we did with Mountain Peaks as well. So it was, I think it was their first time in Birmingham as well.
Yes, it's both of our first time in Birmingham.
So it was I think everyone was quite nervous beforehand because we didn't really know what to expect, and
I think that
it
I
just
think
all
part
went
of
through
that
really
was
well.
part of that was because we did a tour in March, and the first 2 shows were packed out, and then we did a show in Folkestone, which is in the basement of a hotel, and I think because for some reason they couldn't get a local band to open, so it was 3 London bands and a band from Southampton, and they had like a local band showcase there. I don't like fault the promoter for this at all. They did the best what they could, but it ended up being pretty much us playing to the other bands and a handful of people, and we had fun. We made the most of the situation, but it was a bit of a deflating way to end the tour. So the Birmingham show was like the triumphant end to that tour. So it just felt nice to end the tour on a high note rather than that was fun, but it wasn't as fun as the other 2 shows.
The funny thing about that Folkestone one was, so the 2 nights before we'd done the Pipeline in Brighton and Purpulse in Eastbourne, both of which are like really small rooms, probably like 40 to 60 people you could fit in them, completely packed out. No room to do anything. I kept falling over my pedal board in Purpulse. But Folkestone, the venue was about, I don't know, what, 5 times the size?
I think we made
there were 3 people there.
We definitely made the best of a not so favourable situation there. I think
we
officially
just had fun with it, didn't we?
officially only
I climbed on a table mid-performance because it was just there in a venue, and then I realised it was a bit shaky. I was like, "Oh, maybe this isn't a good idea." I went
the furthest I've ever gone into the crowd, and my lead disconnected. It was pure fun.
I forgot about that.
So you've played with bands like Chalk Hands and Still in Love. Is there anything that you've learned from touring with bands like that, whether it's practically or creatively?
I think Chalk Hands have... Sorry, go on.
Yeah. I guess in terms of in terms of like putting on a show, like definitely like Nick from Still in Love, he does a lot of like kind of moving around the stage and like getting really into. I think that's something that I find really inspiring to me. Especially I saw his last band, Dead Swans, open for the secret support slot for the Final Departures show back in. So I've already seen him perform before then. So I guess that definitely that, and I guess just the way we handle merch and things like that.
When we played with Still in Love, I hadn't yet joined the band, but what I got from playing with Chalk Hands was the way they were just such nice guys, and they always seemed to look out for the other bands. Their bassist lent me their amp head as well, which was really nice. So it's just things like that that have stuck with me, really.
They've been around a lot now. Like they've toured with Touche Amore, and they've been all over Europe and all this stuff. And Arctangent a couple of times, and it's just always it's like a good lesson to see how they're still super friendly and approachable and helpful with everyone. They're not like super up themselves or something. You know, they're not huffing their own farts or whatever.
that wouldn't fly in this scene broadly as well.
No,
that's the thing. Like they are like absolutely lovely guys. Like whenever they're in London, I will come and see them play, and they will always make time. When they see me, they always make time to come and say hello and things like that. Like because even before we played shows with them, I was like a really big fan of them, and they recognise me from all the times I was commenting on their social media posts. I guess we have that connection there.
And is there a dream venue or festival you'd love to play?
Oh, I'd love to play Arctangent. Funny enough, literally as I got home from Arctangent yesterday, I managed to find the email address and I sent James an email. Whether or not we get response remains to be seen, but I get, as Carlos will say, you miss all the shots you don't take. And also, I think Outbreak would be fun for us because I think Outbreak's where a lot of the bands are already seen to play.
I would say, I definitely say yes to those two and 2000 Trees. I feel like we would go down well there as well. No, I'm going to say Glastonbury. Fuck it.
Gotta go different. So, how'd you prepare for a live show then?
I guess we just do band practices, and what I do is I do vocal warm-ups. It's like a 5-minute vocal warm-up I found on YouTube. I do that to kind of like help me perform the best way I can, and also make sure I don't damage my throat, because obviously I'm doing like full-on screaming, and it's best to make sure I'm looking after my voice.
Usually when you're doing your warm-ups before the show, Will is just kind of sitting at the back of the room, like just kind of taking the piss out of Rob while he's doing it. So I think
I sometimes
like practically speaking, it's good because he's like learning to carry on focusing under pressure. You know,
I have sometimes joined Will in doing that, but I've also sometimes joined in with Rob because I'm also conscious about fucking my voice up as well.
So the pre-show
Sorry,
ritual seems to be that Rob is the butt of the jokes. Then, yeah,
Not quite.
it's
when you say
okay.
it like that.
We all like rip each other in a friendly way.
yes.
No banter.
20, it's all equal.
Everyone's a target.
So tell us about the album. How long did it take for you to put that together?
So the album, I started writing what was the start of the album in 2020. Because I think because I was struggling to get a lineup together, I thought the second EP we did, Suburban Utopia, I'll record that with the intention, let's just get this off my chest. Let's release this and see what happens. Maybe I'll do more, maybe I won't. And then suddenly we got like interest from labels who wanted to do like various releases. Like it wasn't like big, it was like small DIY kind of releases, but that was still cool. And I thought, maybe there's something here, maybe I should do some more. And the first song I wrote for the album was Fix Your Heart or Die, which was funny enough the first single and one of the highlights on the album in my eyes. Then I think I wrote a couple of other songs, and then I joined another band that were doing some stuff, so I put Death of Youth on hold while that was going on, alongside some other stuff. And then as we were getting ready for the first show, I wrote a few more songs to kind of fill out the 4 or 5 that I had at that point, because I think part of it was I've been in bands since I was like 17. I'd only ever done EPs, and it was one of those things like I really wanted to challenge myself and prove that I could do an album. And I feel quite happy with how that all turned out.
So you're still writing in preparation for the next album as well at the moment?
I've literally just started focusing on that. I wrote a song, funny enough, when we were setting up guitars in the studio, after we finished tracking drums. I was just playing around on guitar and I was like, oh, this sounds nice. And I basically wrote a song off the back of what I started in the studio. And I think here and there I've played around, but now I've taken enough time off writing to start getting back into the swing of it. I've got 2 songs finished. I'm currently working on a 3rd, and I'm aiming to hopefully get something written by the end of next year, but it will take as long as it takes.
And is there any other plans in the meantime before the writing continues and the recording of the album?
So we've got 3 more shows left for the rest of the year. So I'm not, depending on when this goes up, these shows might have all happened. So we're playing at the Fighting Cocks in Kingston, which is a dream venue for me. We're playing that with a band called Loose Leaf, and then Retail Parks and Mum and Dad Talk to Animals. So a bit more of an emo show. We're probably like the heaviest band there. And then we are playing a headline show at the Old Blue Last, which is another one of those venues that I've really wanted to play for a long time. We're playing that with bands called Inner Dog, Hiding from Mirrors, and our very good friends in Christina Carpenter are opening that show. I'm really excited for that one, especially because like I was just happy to play the Old Blue Last, let alone like headline it. And then we've got another show in December which hasn't been announced yet. It's going to be in London. That's going to be with some good friends of ours, which will hopefully announce soon. And we're in talks to do a tour in February, but we're still waiting on confirmation on dates for that. So hopefully we'll start getting that penciled in soon.
Good stuff.
Cool. We're going to move on to the fun questions now. So what was the first album or single you ever bought with your own money?
First album I ever bought was Gnarls Barkley, Saint Elsewhere, because the song Crazy was huge at the time.
It's a classic, to be fair.
So mine was International Super Hits by Green Day, which I bought because I liked the song Basket Case a lot, and I saw that CD in Woolworths when I was, I think, 14. This was like a year before Woolworths closed down, which dates this significantly. I remember definitely looking for Green Day stuff, and I saw they had International Super Hits up because I've got a Woolworths voucher for Christmas that year, and I decided to spend it on CDs, and that was one of the ones I bought.
Not 100% sure about the first single I bought with my own money, but I think the first album I bought with my own money was Drowning Pool's Sinner. Like, I think nu metal was in probably the first, I guess, subgenre of heavy music I remember enjoying. I mean, this was when I was like, 11, 12 years old, before it before heavy music became really part of my identity. Oh God, I might have bought "We Made It" by Linkin Park with Busta Rhymes as a single with my own money as well.
You know what? I didn't even know that song existed.
Now you do.
So when you're traveling to shows, what's been the soundtrack in the van?
A few different things. I've had like bands like Thrice and Thursday.
A lot of early 2000s post-hardcore has soundtracked our
and
journeys.
Calisdale Boys for good measure.
We
Yeah, you got to have that Cowboys album in there.
We usually sit in the cafe or whatever at the service station and queue the next few albums between us.
Yeah.
Like just try and figure out a playlist that's going to keep everyone at least a little bit happy.
Yeah.
If Death of Youth had to be sponsored completely by a completely inappropriate brand like Greg's, Ryman Stationery, or the London Overground, who are you picking?
Out of those three?
No, you can pick whoever. They're just examples.
An inappropriate.
Well,
Gordon's for the gin.
Well, so
Percy
I'm trying
Pigs.
to wouldn't pick. Oh yeah, Percy. That'd be Marks and Spencers. Whenever we're travelling to gigs, it's not just any old.
Shut up!
It's M&S hardcore. But for me, because whenever we drive to a gig, we always meet by a Sainsbury's. Whenever we go in there, I always buy a tube of Pringles to eat on the car journey to wherever we're going. So I'd say Pringles.
I don't know. I'm just looking forward to seeing Death of Youth shirts and Marks and Spencers through Joe's deal.
You know they're going to be high quality.
40-odd-year-old men will be wearing them.
Carlos, who does the best easy peelers?
That's a really I'm known for just only eating them, basically.
Like we'll be halfway down the motorway to the next show, and I'll be driving, and suddenly I'm just smelling the juice of a satsuma. And I'm like,
There they are.
Once we played a gig where we got requests for riders, and I asked everyone in the band what they wanted, and this is before we knew about the whole thing, because this is literally just after Carlos joined the band. Carlos's request was canned G&T and easy peeler clementines.
And they did it.
One way to do it.
What can I say? I'm a simple man.
Indeed. So if you can steal one element from another UK band, whether that's tone, stage presence, or merch game, what are you nicking?
UK band.
Yeah, let's go UK.
So much to choose from.
That eliminates the Dow Boys for the merch.
I don't think anyone can match Dow Boys for the merch, though, can they?
So funny.
I guess Chalk Cans have a really good guitar sound, so I'd say maybe the similar guitar sound to what they have.
I like so in Case You Leave, we've played with a good few times as well. I guess just like the intricacy of what they do is really interesting. Like they so rarely go into like traditional heavy music instrumentation, and like it's like the mood all comes from the way all the bass and the guitars and the drums and the vocals kind of weave in and out of each other. So I guess my answer to that is just everything about In Case You Leave.
I am honestly struggling to find an answer.
That's fine. You're booked on a hardcore festival, but the promoter insists you perform a cover from a completely different genre. What do you pick?
I've actually been thinking about this a lot. I think this could kind of be cheating because it might be a bit too close to us, but I think we could do a pretty good cover of Emergency by Paramore.
I can hear it.
Any other answers? Maybe something a bit more further leaning.
Yeah, let's get a little away from that.
A bit further away than Pink Pony Club by Chapel Roan.
Yeah, there you go.
Hang up.
I want to do something a bit disco screamo, kind of get the beat going.
Maybe you could try and outdo Kiss.
Let's do Raining Men. That'd be fun.
There we go. That's the type of answer we want.
There we go.
I'm feeling the pressure to outdo two of you. I think someone from Ithaca was tweeting about doing a heavy cover of this song, so I'm going to say Apply Some Pressure by Maximo Park.
Good answer.
That is a banger.
What's the current song that you've got on repeat?
I don't listen to individual songs a lot. I always put on a whole album, but the thing I'm currently listening to all the time is the new Loathe album.
I still haven't got around to that myself.
Yeah, I'm the same as Joe. I tend to go mainly for albums rather than songs, but I do. There are sometimes there's the odd song that I do go to. I think recently I bought the new Time Heist record, and I got really into that. So I'd say the new Time Heist record.
I also prefer listening to albums myself. I said I'm a big Julie Christmas fan earlier. I've just got Supernatural going around my head at the moment.
Choice. I know my lad's got Thin Skin going around with him everywhere at the moment as well.
You've raised him right.
Yeah, so he's a bit unhappy. I mean, I'm saying I listen to a lot of albums all the time, but then I've been pretty infatuated with Ladies' Night by Crippling Alcoholism now for nearly 6 months. And I have to put it on a regular basis, otherwise I don't feel complete.
What's the most cursed piece of gear you've ever owned as a musical equipment?
Someone else go first.
Not sure of the exact model. Maybe it isn't necessarily cursed, but I have one of those Line 6 Spider 4 amps that everyone rips on. All those gear snobs.
To insane?
Not all the time.
Yeah.
I still own it. All those gear snobs can go fuck themselves.
With my other bands that I played guitar in, I'd had a DS1 pedal, but for some reason it just completely stopped working, so I had to completely just get a replacement for it. But I guess that's the closest thing I can think of to curse. I don't think I've had any gear that's really not been great. I guess my first guitar was a bit basic, but like my very first band, we recorded all our guitars on that guitar. But yeah, I wasn't sure if that counts. It was just like a very basic teenager's first guitar.
So my one, so this was when I was in me, Rob and Will's old band. We were playing a show. I used to have this Epiphone Les Paul, and between songs, I'd like stop to pick up a bottle of water, and I was unscrewing it, so I didn't have any hands on the guitar, and the strap just completely popped off. Oof. And it fell directly onto the ground in what was like a really old pub with these like hard stone floors.
Oh
no!
The thing about Les Paul is the jack cable goes in the bottom, so when it landed after falling off, it landed straight on that, smashing the jack cable up inside the guitar, demolishing the cable and severing a few of the cables inside.
Wow.
But
I think the funniest Joe made a point at this gig was that cable was brand new that day. He literally just unwrapped it at the venue for that gig, and he got absolutely butchered by this guitar, spectacularly crashing down.
But the thing is, inside the guitar, obviously there's so little space. A lot of the time, even though the cables were severed, they were still touching each other, so the sound was still coming through. So a lot of the time it'd be fine, but then just randomly complete silence, no idea how to fix it. And it happened like inconsistently enough for me to just kind of forget to get it sorted for a few months. So we played a few gigs where just the guitar would cut out every now and then, and I'd just shake it until it started making noises again.
I love how the camera shook.
Your amp was fucked as well.
I love how the camera shook to emphasize it. Yeah.
I can't believe Joe made his own kill switch in his guitar. Right, so we'll move on to the quick fire questions. Stage dive or mic grab?
Mic grab.
Mic grab.
Mic grab.
Big festivals or intimate gigs?
Intimate gig.
Intimate gigs easily.
100%.
Intimate gigs for sure.
Black hoodie or white tee?
Depends on what's on it, but I guess white t-shirt. I'm more of a t-shirt person than a hoodie person.
Black hoodie for me.
Hoodie, yeah.
In-betweeners or Friday night dinner?
Friday night dinner.
I haven't seen Friday night dinner, so I'm going to say in-betweeners.
Yeah, same as Carlos. I've not seen Friday night dinner, so
you guys are missing out.
If it was different question.
US hardcore, East Coast or West Coast?
East Coast.
East Coast.
Yeah, East Coast.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Fan snacks.
I don't drink either, but I like herbal tea, so I go for tea.
Fan snacks, sweet or savoury?
Sweet.
Savoury.
Quavers or pickled onion monster munch?
Quavers.
Monster munch.
Quavers.
And our last question, pickle juice sorbet or Marmite glazed banana on toast?
What's the first one?
Sorbet.
Pickle juice sorbet.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Can't do Marmite. Pickle juice.
I think, pick the juice definitely, because I think, like I say, Marmite, you love it or you hate it. I think most of us would say, yeah, we're a hate Marmite kind of band.
Pickle juice sorbet for me, because I have a problem with bananas.
Or see if
Yeah.
the Marmite, it's the bananas that get.
I'd have to go with
To be honest,
Carson.
I'd love the bananas, but not the Marmites.
No.
Now, if it was a Marmite dipped easy peeler, that'd be a different story.
Very good.
Well, thanks for coming on, guys. It's been a pleasure.
No
Thanks
worries.
for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us too.
And where can we find you?
You can find us on Instagram at Death of Youth UKHC. We mainly post on them. We do have Twitter and Facebook, but we don't really post on those. So if you want to keep up to date with what we're doing, Instagram is a place. And also, all our music is on Bandcamp, which is bandcamp.com, or I think Bandcamp is deathofyouthuk.bandcamp.com.
Awesome
Stuff. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
No worries.
Thanks
Thank
so
you very
much.
Cheers.